some moments where you're like, that was kind of dumb, but it's so minor. It's just so satisfying to see Obi-Wan and maybe Vader together again.
Oh, I finally saw Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, what do you think?
They ripped off Spider-Man, and they did a bunch of stuff that didn't really seem to go anywhere, like the Illuminati. Also, the Illuminati, that was just sad.
I felt the same. I have to admit, I felt the same thing. I watched it and I went, oops. It felt like a lot of places where it was like, okay, you've got a bunch of cool stuff happening, I guess, but A, you did a better job with No Way Home. You've created some weird things I don't quite get. The big thing for me was like, I don't know if you can connect with this, but I've already seen Wanda do the whole I'm mad and trying to get my family back.
Yeah, that was WandaVision.
Yeah, I mean, I've already seen that story in WandaVision, and seeing her go ape shit, and
it's not even an original story. They stole it from Spider-Man.
Yeah, it just all feels really. Felt really kind of, and I agree with what you just said about the whole like the Illuminati. Like I was like,
Professor X did the most out of everyone. Black Bolt was just a sheer disappointment. Miss Marvel died from a statue falling on her, and remember, the other Miss Marvel can go into a planet's core and punch Ultron.
Well, that was the one thing that I heard an explanation on, that where I went, okay, I can, which is the idea that you see, if you slow it down, you can see that or this is the inference, that Scarlet Witch pulls her power out of her just before that comes down. But that's a lot to assume that the audience is going to catch. And I didn't either. When you have to watch a YouTube video for it to make sense, that's a problem.
I would have accepted it more if she slammed the Captain America shield through her. That would have been more acceptable. And then
she literally just peeled Mr. Fantastic apart. She literally just crushed the head of Dude, and then
actually, I heard some guy claiming that she didn't kill Black Bolt. Black Bolt started screaming and killed himself.
Oh, even better. Except
that's not obvious. I thought he killed her too at the beginning.
Well, but then she gets into a protracted shield battle with Captain Britain or whatever. So the whole Illuminati thing, my pet peeve with Justice League, my number one pet peeve with Justice League was that, unlike Marvel, DC expected us to just take into our experience 4 heroes all at once. Like no setup, no previous movie, no one by one. But even then, at least
I could have accepted that, considering how popular superheroes are, if they did it well.
If they did it well, you're right. And to your point, at least we know who Aquaman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, some people know who Cyborg is. But with these characters, I thought, let me get this straight, because I was like, oh, cool, the Illuminati. And I was like, yeah. And within 5 minutes, they're all dead. And I'm like, what? That's it? That's all you're doing with the Illuminati? You're bringing them in and you're killing them off? And like,
there wasn't any purpose in going there except meeting Stephen Strange's sort of multiversal girlfriend thing.
I thought it was just a mess. I thought there were some things about it I loved, but I walked out of that theater
like it was nice to watch.
Very disappointed.
But it was very much like, oh, what the fuck is going on here?
Especially given how good I thought the first Doctor Strange was. Like, it wasn't my favorite Marvel film, but I thought at least the story made sense. It was fun. It was logical. It was emotional. Whereas this one was like, I don't even know. And we haven't even talked about the person we're supposed to care the most about, America Ferrera, or whatever her name is.
Yeah, that's just a dumb name.
Which is like, dumb name, dumb uniform. Her whole purpose in the movie was simply to be a tag along, or to be the thing that made everybody was chasing her. And then finally, she was the MacGuffin. In the end, when she finally built up her confidence to fight Scarlet Witch, her superpower was being able to punch her really hard. And I'm like, come on.
Honestly, I got the feeling like she's kind of like a replacement for Captain America. And I mostly say that because, like, they're very much American themed-ish.
I felt about Doctor Strange, I came out feeling about it the same way I felt about X-Men 3. Where it was like, with X-Men 3, it was like, okay, this is fun. Some cool stuff happened. Even that movie I liked better. Even X-Men 3, which a lot of people can't stand.
Which was the third one again?
Last Stand, where Wolverine kills Jean Grey. At least there was something in that story that made sense, which is Jean Grey goes almost out of control and they have to stop her. And unfortunately, Wolverine has to kill her. At least that's a coherent, logical thing that happens, even though I thought the execution was a little Juggernaut. Juggernaut was fun. What did you like about it? Was there anything about the Strange movie that you liked?
I can't really think of it. Like, you know, it's Marvel. I got to see my favorite characters again. Wong was there, but it felt like they had too many things going on, and not enough of those things were really pulled out into like being. Also, like, what the hell was up with Wanda's plan in the first place? Like, I'm going to go find an alternate version of myself with kids, murder her, and then take over her life. That's literally the best you could come up with traveling the entire multiverse. You're not going to go to a world that just lost their Wanda that has kids, or just find two newborn kids whose mother died in childbirth, or hell, just go out and date someone.
Yeah. Well, and somebody pointed out the obvious thing. It says she doesn't even actually have children. They were a manufactured product of her
grief,
mind in denial and grief in WandaVision, which I thought was brilliant. I really did like WandaVision a lot. I thought the ending was a little too marvelly for me, but at least
COVID happened, so they kind of had to.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. But I thought it was conceptually like one of the coolest things that Marvel had come up with. I loved WandaVision. I loved Loki. I loved What If, and not every part of it. They were lumpy bits in all of them, but I thought at least they were clever.
The sad thing is, I like Strange Supreme more than Doctor Strange.
Me too. That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, for starters, like, he's way more tanky than Doctor Strange. And like, you know, with Thor and Hulk kind of gone at this point, Marvel is kind of lacking for tank characters.
Yeah. I'm with you. I just don't have any idea what happened. Like, if somebody were to say, what happened in Doctor Strange, the first one? An arrogant doctor was humbled and learned that the world and the universe and reality is much bigger than he thinks. And he became, basically sets up to become the Sorcerer Supreme. Okay, good. What happens in the second one? Wanda apparently still can't get over. And by the way, why isn't she looking for, why the kids and not Vision? Mm-hmm. Why is she accepting that Vision, that Vision's clearly not in the picture, but she's going after, the moral problems I have and the logical problems I have with this movie it was just really fucking disappointing. And Sam Raimi, everybody's like, oh, but it's Sam Raimi who, he did these.
Also, the entire argument for not having the multiverse crossover reasons kind of kills the whole point of having a multiverse, which is to have people cross over and shit.
That's a good point.
There's no point in having a multiverse if you can't visit it.
Well, that's you bring up a very good point, which is that should be the functional value of having a multiverse is that everything should by nature cross over or be able to, Oh, so disappointing. I was really disappointed, and I'm not glad that you were disappointed, but yeah, I am. I'm kind of glad too.
I think the movies I want to watch with my family are Mobius, the Marvel's vampire movie, the Jurassic Park, and the new Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things about the Harry Potter movie, but I'm hoping it's good. I'm reading it right now with my 6-year-old. He's reading Harry Potter for the first time, which is fun.
Those books are great. I grew up reading those books. Though now I look back at them and I think to myself, why is it all the books I enjoyed as children basically boil down to child abandonment?
It's true, though. It's always that way. It was that way in the Bible, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Then they're always staying with their uncle. Frodo, Luke.
It's not even that. It's oh, here's a dangerous situation. I'm going to let children play in it. And this is completely reasonable in my universe for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
How has your put everybody at risk. Survived?
Oh, crazy. How was your week, by the way? Do you have a good one other than Doctor Strange?
I'm working towards 2 more chapters in Locust in Alaska. I'm kind of torn between doing a Remy chapter for the next one or doing a Julius chapter with him, and a new recruit.
Mm-hmm. I would encourage you to go Julius, but we can talk about that. I think it's good to establish him pretty quick if he's your main kind of central character. It would feel good on the heels of this because I love, like, that's the way I read it. So I reread your prologue, and then I went to the Julius chapter, and I thought it was brilliant that you started them having a banana split. Like, you didn't just launch right into the graveyard. There was that moment of levity, of lightness, of humor, of kind of just being with these people. And I'm like, I wanted a banana split reading it. With this here, I'll just quickly go through this. Cleaner, a lot of things happening. And one thing that occurred to me that I don't know if I communicated quite as effectively as I thought I did, but here where you have him pull out a gun instead of doing the magical spell, I think I may have given you the impression that I thought any magic at all might be too much. The only thing I should clarify, I think this works to have a gun. Totally. He pulled out a gun, opened fire. We can worry about the spelling and grammar later. And we don't have any magic, so that works. That's definitely clean if it's just like no magic. Because what I like about that, so I'm going to make a case for magic and for not magic. Start with the not magic. I like this because it allows us to focus all of our attention on this weird, freaky thing that's happening, and not also be going, what? Magic? What? And now my focus is split, and I'm trying to figure out two things at once. So this is cleaner, and I like it. Having said that, now here's my argument for the magic. The only thing that was confusing to me last time was the actual reference to low-level spell, was those words. Like, rather than, like, don't give it a, like, if you see him, like, suddenly his hands start glowing green, don't explain it. And like, create a what? Because then suddenly I realized if you simply take out the reference to low-level magic and simply show him, glowing and doing something there, that's okay. That's really cool. Because you're like, oh, so it may sound like I'm like, well, I'm confused, Paul. I thought you said not to confound with monsters with magic. Like, you get what I'm saying.
I was confusing the issue with technicality shit.
Okay, cool.
Do you think it's worth bringing it back, or should I leave the gun? Like, on one hand, the benefits of having magic now is that I don't have to introduce it later.
I think go back to the magic. I think go with the magic because it is cool the way you wrote it. I really like the way you wrote it.
Also, lurkers can't use magic, so I can't have them doing it.
Fair.
Yeah, they're strictly foot soldiers.
I think with, again, I think this is a repeat comment, but the Chitlin armor, I think I might either use a different adjective, drop the adjective, or explain the adjective. It's because chitin. There you go. See, I'm horrible.
Do I keep misspelling it? I'm trying to say chitin, but for some reason it always comes up as something else.
I just don't even know. That's the problem. I'm just dumb about the words, so you're probably fine.
I'm gonna freaking look this stuff up after this call.
I might. Yeah, and I might I might go with something a little grosser, like the monsters, glistening, fleshy armor, because you've got a very David Cronenberg description of what follows. Like all of the description. Now, have you edited this whole thing? Because I noticed that almost all of this is the same as it was last time I read it.
Yeah,
like all the.
I did once through with Grammarly, though it kept coming up with problems, so I kind of.
Oh, okay. Because a couple of the specific suggestions I had made about the gore, sounds like you want to keep the gore, the level of the gore.
Yeah, I thought about trying to edit out the gore, but then I thought, like
you want to keep it in there.
Yeah, like the whole point of these creatures is that they're scary, they get up close and personal, and people die in horrific ways.
Then cool. I support that. I think if you're going to go for the gore, then just be consistently gory. If you're going to be this gory right off the hop. The great thing is the argument that I was sort of last week sort of saying, well, it might turn some people off. You could easily make the argument the other way. On the contrary, I want people who love this stuff. And so if I put this right at the very beginning, people are going to go, oh yeah, I got to read this. So you could easily make an argument against what I was saying.
Like there's also the fact that victims are going to be described bodies all over the floor with their guts. Ghouls dissect people.
Mm-hmm.
It's very. I picked very graphic monsters for this series, so I'm gonna have to roll with it.
Yeah, no, I love it. So yeah, ignore me on the other thing about the gore. I think it is working. This thing here that I've crossed out, and it's not a cross out because I think it absolutely must go. When you say, again, this is, however, against this particular monster, it's sort of like saying low-level spell. It's sort of like, wait a minute.
It's too specific.
too specific this early on. And it sounds like it's an important thing to sort of talk about later, but I would just lean into the raw, visceral terror of this moment. And we can talk about different types of monsters and stuff. So this worked for me. This was reading this through again. I'm in. This is good, especially the way it ends. Is this the actual ending, or is there going to be something at the bottom?
I didn't plan for anything to be at the bottom. This was
one thing I might suggest is to have like maybe tell my family I love them, honey, I love you. I'm sorry, I wish I had taken a teaching job. And like something that shows like at the end of Infinity War where we get that end of like credit scene where Fury pulls up the Captain Marvel thing and does the thing, and then he disappears, and we get a close up on that thing. It almost feels like there should be like he's like like you can hear the last little bit of his message like fading away, and that's how it ends. Although this works as well, but I'm just looking for maybe a little more dramatic ending, but it works. If this was visual, I would be, and depending on the level of humor, I would have the last thing we see in this scene look approximately like a banana split. And then I'd go into the scene with Julius with a close up on the banana split and pull away like the strawberry sauce is like the blood we just saw in the last scene, depending on if you wanted to go for that.
Yeah, that's all true. The problem is that's very much a cinema thing. And
yeah, you can't do it here yet. If it was a script, it's wicked. I think it's one of my favorite things you've ever written, and I think I said that last week too. So that really, really worked for me. Let me go over here.
It's unfortunately very nice to not be writing Creature in the Ice anymore.
Fair.
Dear God, that was taking forever.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just a matter of what you're more comfortable writing, and definitely what you're having more fun writing.
Apparently, I'm more comfortable writing about paranormal, gore, and horrible things than I am about college.
There you go. Yeah, that works. Love this moment. Love the whole idea of having a banana split. The Sunday, that's what he's eating. I just put in a suggestion. You can take or leave. Is this really the best use of our time, Sir Watkins? You'll find that in our line of work, there are a few better ways to spend our time than enjoying a little piece of heaven like this. Or however, like to me, I love him. You're doing a great job of establishing his sense of humor.
Originally, I had a line there where it's like, Watkins, if you're not going to enjoy this moment with me, then please shut up and let me enjoy it.
Totally fair. Yeah. Something like that. Because that's his response to that. That's your money shot. That's your very first introduction to Julius is both the banana split and whatever you decide is the best response to this line from Watkins. Because the two of them together are a great way to introduce. So that's what I would encourage you as you move into this chapter. If you just choose to do this chapter next, recognize that before we get any word about the going to the graveyard, I might drag this scene out a little longer too. Right now it's about half a page, which is, I love that you're sort of stretching and getting more comfortable with not needing to burst right into the action. I might go a little longer in the scene and let the banter kind of play out a little bit more. Just make intelligent choices about what do I want the audience to know about Julius specifically at this stage in the story. You may not know exactly, but that's the question that is a good one to ask. And then you can have him say and do things that tell us right off the bat in this first introduction with Watkins. Watkins dies too, right? Like he gets axed.
Oh yeah, we basically transition from this into the ghoul scene. Watkins walks in, Ghoul tears out his throat, drags away his corpse. Julius gets pissed, and then we get to see Julius just full on, go full Rambo on the ghouls and just massacre them all.
Sweet. So that's all I kind of have for that, is that I think just generally speaking, that's a wicked way to start that chapter. Remy, I don't think I had much on her.
Most of hers is a description, and while I did like writing Remy's chapter because it was technically next in the script, it occurred to me that Remy's not really in this first book that much. So it might be better to save her introduction for later.
It might be.
There's really not a lot to gain by delving into her now, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you might be right. But the prologue and Julius work really well for me. So is Julius, are you thinking potentially that?
I already decided that because, like I said, I like Remy. Her character is important in the long term. In this very first episode, basically irrelevant.
Totally fair. No, it's good. It's really good. Full steam ahead, and I would love to see. I would love to see kind of where it goes from here in terms of that Julius chapter. So, if you want to throw that my way before next week, that'd be great.
No problem. I think I also want to send you the prologue because I want to get that out as soon as possible, so then I can. I think I'm going to send you the revised prologue with magic, and what was the other thing we discussed? Less technicality was one of those things.
Definitely,
slightly better end scene.
Let me just pull it up one more time here.
It doesn't matter. I have the whole thing recorded.
Yeah,
so I can...
the magic, the armor, the monster's armor. If you wanted to play with that a bit, I'll send you. In any event, I'll send you these notes, and yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing. If you want to send me another kind of version of the prologue and more on Julius, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's probably going to be hopefully the last revision for the prologue, and then whatever I managed to create of Julius's chapter. I'm not sending you Remy's chapter anymore. She's just going to phone call him.
Okay. No, that's perfect. I think that's perfect. Awesome. Great work. Can I help with anything else? Is that good just to keep you moving forward?
Yeah, I think that's... Oh, did you see the new Stranger Things?
I've seen all of the episodes so far.
Don't like how...
Yeah, and I'm a little mixed. Yeah, I'm a little mixed. I feel like I love the... You've seen it all, I'm assuming?
Yep, saw it all.
So I love the idea of the number one. So I love that whole thing with number one, and that, oh my God, he's the guy. So I'm going to be curious. Like it feels a bit, I feel like they're spinning their wheels a bit. Like part of me is like, oh, this is cool. This is new. This is fresh. And another part of me is like, this kind of feels like what I've seen in 3 seasons already. Like I'm getting a bit of both.
From the Upside Down.
Yeah, and like long, endless battles with like I literally with episode 3, I think, I literally was just skipping forward to the next significant moment because I feel like I've seen this.
To be fair,
I've seen this.
I've seen this. Show I watch is I skip
fair.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I think I might steal some of number one's character design to add on to the Alhoon, just to try and make them
love. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Human without skin, very fleshy, skull-like face, tentacles coming out.
Yeah, I thought it was a really cool device when we realized the thing that was maybe the most significant for me was when they suddenly realized that what was happening on the other side was happening in the past. And then suddenly I realized that even 11 was like, of course, we knew right away that a lot of 11's memories and what she was having to process was the past because it was big her versus little her and all that stuff.
I just assumed that the entire the whole Upside Down town kind of was created the instant that Will got taken, and it's just basically just been a still shots of that day.
Yeah, so, that's a really good point.
I don't think it's really so much as them going into the past, so much as what they were looking at was just that, a still shot of the past,
like a frozen moment.
Yeah, because my big thought with the Upside Down the first time I saw it was, how does this place get updated like as stuff happens?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the big thing I never understood, and they've kind of answered that in saying that it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Well, we'll see where it goes because when does the next couple? I think it's 2 episodes, right, that are dropping.
Is it 2? No, according to what I saw, it said like next half.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And then I thought, let me just double check. Season 4, because I heard one of the brothers saying, yeah, so it's 4 episodes or however many episodes. Oh, here we go. How many episodes are there that we've seen? Is it 7?
7, I think.
Yeah. So they say there's 2 more episodes that are going to be released.
Like a month? Why?
Well, that's what I don't understand. It's sort of like, yeah, the next 2 chapters will be revealed in July. And I'm like, 2? Like at a minimum, wouldn't you think there would be logic in releasing
another 7?
5 and 4? Well, that's what you would think. Yeah. That's what I heard originally. I heard that there was almost the equivalent of a 5th season. Who knows?
God damn it.
Yeah. Not impressed. Anyway, keep it real, brother. And 5 o'clock next Monday work for you still?
5 o'clock works next Monday.
All right. We'll see.
See you then.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.